Welcome to Part of My Imagination. I'm Imagination and you're the Imaginers. Welcome if this is your first time. My name is Jasmine and welcome back if this is your second or third or however many times you've clicked on my channel. Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing the first book haul of 2023. Okay, technically I didn't buy any of these books in 2023. They just got hauled in 2023. Mainly because I had already edited a haul video and published it as my final. And then somehow, some way, I kept buying more books. But, yeah. 2 of the books that I have are books that my mom got me for Christmas. 10 of the books I got during the 50% off. And that was Wesley's fault. And the reason why it was Wesley's fault is because we were having brunch one day, right? We were just having brunch on a normal Sunday. Maybe it was a Sunday. I don't remember what day it was. Saturday, probably. We were having normal brunch. And I was in here telling him about my goals for the year, especially for my channel. And I was like, oh, you know, I've seen this really interesting video or post on Instagram, and I'm thinking about either not buying any books for the year or extremely cutting back on the amount of books that I buy. So technically going on the book buying ban, right? And he's like, oh, wow, that's so crazy, because I was going to say, let's go to Barnes & Noble. And every time he says, let's go to Barnes & Noble, I'm like, oh, fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, well, I didn't say I was not buying books in 2022. I just said 2023. Excuse me, I just choked on my spit. But unbeknownst to us, I'm still choking on my spit. We didn't know, okay? We didn't know. When we got there, we're like, why is Barnes & Noble so packed? And we went inside, and they said all hardcovers were 50% off. So there were quite a few books that I had to get because they were 50% off. So let's just get into this haul, because I think I have about 20 of them. The first book that I have is The Burning Gods by R.F. Kuang. This is the 3rd book in the Poppy War. This is a book that my mom got me for Christmas. She did give me the paperback, even though on the hardcovers, but I was going to collect the paperback anyway, so I'm glad that she got this. Just kickstart me to get the paperback. But if you don't know what the Poppy War is about, I'm not going to talk about it, because I've literally talked about the Poppy War 1,000 times over on my channel. I always say that it's an adult fantasy, expected to be an adult fantasy. It's about war, armies, death, war, poverty, the whole 9. There's trigger warnings for literally everything in that book. Just read it. It's a phenomenal book. And it's also inspired by, I believe, actual Chinese history. So go ahead and check it out. The next book my mom got me is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Shuri. I'm pretty sure my mom got this book for me because, one, it has my name in it, even though my name is spelled J-A-Z-M-I-N-E. And I know y'all probably like, wait, your name used to be J-A-S-M-I-N-E. And it was J-A-S-M-I-N-E. J-A-S-M-I-N-E. But I changed my name. Anyways. No, I really do mean that. I changed it legally. Short story. Boop, boop, boop. We're going to just interrupt and put short story time. So when I was younger, right, my mom and my dad told me my name was spelled J-A-Z-M-I-N-E my whole life, right? And then, as y'all know, I joined the Army, right? So I joined the Army, but I didn't have my birth certificate, and I didn't have my social security card, so I had to order a new one. And I'm trying to get my birth certificate, and they emailed me back, and they're like, we don't have a J-S in the system. We don't have a J-A-Z-M-I-N-E in the system, but we do have a J-S in the system. Is this you? And I was like, oh, shit, that's crazy. Yeah, that's me, I guess. So this whole time they've been spelling my name wrong. My whole life I've been spelling my name wrong. And I told my mama and I told my daddy, and they're like, oh, they must have messed up the paperwork. And, yeah. I guess they messed the paperwork up. And they just spelled my name J-A-S. So then when I got married, I forgot to change it. And then once I got divorced, I was like, ooh, this is my time to shine. So I changed it back to J-A-Z-M-I-N-E. And that's the end of the story. Anyways, this book is following 2 women, a princess and a princess that dreams of vengeance, and a maidservant dreams of freedom. They're going to come together and probably just tear the world up. You feel me? And I'm here for it. Alright, the next 10 books I'm going to be talking about are the books that I got in the 50% off deal. And the first one I have is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This is a signed edition. It is so beautiful. Excuse me. I believe this is a story that she was tweeting about on Twitter. If you follow her, she was tweeting bits and pieces of the people from this story. And that's what caught my eye to wanting to get this. And even if it's not, it doesn't matter, because I've read the Witchland series. I haven't read the new one, Wind Witch, but I've read up to all of the ones that are currently out that before the new one came out. What? Anyways, Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map. Your phone won't work. Here in the forest outside, town might just kill you. That's all I need to know. That's all I want to know. Alright, the next book that I absolutely had to get because it was 50% off, The Eye of the World by Robin Jordan. This is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. This is one of the, I guess it's like one of the most well-known, I believe, fantasy stories, high fantasy at least, in the world of fantasy. I don't know. This book came out a long time ago, and this is also the book that Brandon Sanderson finished writing the last three books. Brandon Sanderson actually finished off. The last two, I believe. Wait. The two before the last one, I believe, were Robert Jordan was still around, and I think the last one is the one that Brandon Sanderson finished out. But either way, yes, I have no idea what this series is about. I worked with a gentleman that also was a reader, and he said this was the best series ever. So I went ahead and picked it up. I've been collecting them all, and I have all the way from 5 to 14, I think is the last one. 13, 14, yeah. So I just need 3 through 4. 2 through 4, excuse me. I even have the prequel. Next book I picked up was Jackal by Aaron E. Adams. I believe this is a thriller. And it's about a young black girl goes missing in the woods outside her white Rust Belt town. But she's not the first, and she may not be the last. This is a thriller, so that's all I really want to know about it. This came out last year, 2022, and I had my eye on it. I had just never picked it up, and now I am. Next, I have Babel by R.F. Kuang. This was a given. This is everything that I needed to know, and I finally picked it up. I'm not really sure. A historical fantasy epic that grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of language and translation as a dominating tool of the British Empire. I know it's dark academia, and it's R.F. Kuang, and that's all I need to know. The next book I picked up is The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin. This is the second book in The City We Became. And if you didn't know, I actually love the first story over and over and over again. It started as a short story in her short story collection, the anthology How Long Until Black Future Month. She did a bind up of short stories. And then, so the City We Became was in that one. And then The City We became an actual story. And if you don't know what The City We Became is about, it's basically following these 6 people. I think it's 6. I can't remember. There's 6 people that all represent the boroughs of New York City. And they have this type of, like, they are actually the representation of each one of the boroughs in New York City. Or New York, for that matter. And there is some source or some power that is trying to destroy New York. And they have to bind together and come together to stop this power. That's all you need to know. This is the second in that story, and I'm actually interested to get to it. The next book I got is The Last Quintista by Donna Barbara Higuera. Higuera. I said that horribly wrong, and I'm so sorry. This is basically just following a girl named Petra who wants to be nothing but a storyteller like her abuelita. The world is ending, and her family get picked to go to this new planet. Her and of other families go to this new planet, and hundreds of years later, Petra wakes to this new planet and discovery that she's the only person who remembers Earth. A sinister collective has taken over the ship during its journey, bent on erasing the sins of humanity's past. They have systematically purged the memories all aboard or purged them altogether. Petra alone now carries the stories of our past, and with them, any hope of the future. Can she make them live again? The next one I got is The Underworld by Femi Fadugba. Yeah. This is, if you didn't see the video of all the rereads that I want to read in 2023, I'll link it down below. I'll link the playlist down below. But if y'all couldn't tell, I'm on like a outer space, intergalactic, galaxy time travel, and all that stuff. That's my kick. I'm on Excuse me, I'm on a sci-fi kick right now. Apparently. But this also follows underneath that. That's why when I read this, I had to pick it up. It's following a gentleman named Esso has the gift of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It just landed him in the middle of a deadly conflict between two rival South London gangs. All he wants is to make it through Friday alive, but then an accident knocks him into a place between space or time. A world where he can see glimpses of his past and future, and if what he sees there is true, he and his friends don't have much longer to live, unless he can change the course of history. Tomorrow, Raya has nothing but questions about her past, and she wouldn't have expected her new physics tutor to have the answers. But Dr. Esso isn't here to make sure Raya does her homework. He needs her help to unravel a tragedy that happened 15 years ago. One that holds the key not only to Raya's past, but to a future worth fighting for. Everything that I ever needed. And look at the cover. Like, hello? Alright, I did end up getting 3 graphic novels. Not graphic novels, but mangas in this deal. And that is wrong way. That's Tomi by Junji Ito. This is the 3rd in this collection. I don't know if it's the 3rd, but I just know it finishes the collection of this edition that I have. This is about murdered again and again. One girl always comes back for more. If you don't know about Junji Ito, get to know him. He is like one of the horror gods of manga. I fell in love with Junji Ito like years ago because I had watched Uzumaki when it was a movie. And I watched it and I was like, shit's creepy as hell. And I didn't know that it was a manga at the time. And then I realized that he was actually a manga artist, author. And I picked it up and I was like, oh yes, have to have it. And yeah, this was a $35 book, so obviously I had to get it for half off. Alright, the next one I got is Fullmetal Alchemist. This is by Hiromu Arakawa? Sorry, this is the Volume 1 Fullmetal Alchemist Edition hardcover. I've been waiting to pick this up forever, and they finally had volume number 1. Everywhere I went, they never had the first volume. So they finally had it. This was $20. I got half off. They're like, if you don't know what Fullmetal Alchemist is about, because this is definitely like a 90s kids thing. Okay, not really, but I watched it when I was younger, and I fell in love with it. I do know that they redid it, so it's Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. They both stand on their own. Brotherhood is better, but Fullmetal Alchemist is still good on its own. Anyways, it's following this boy whose father disappeared and left the family to be like an alchemist or whatever. So they're trying to learn alchemy. And something tragic happens and their mom ends up dying. And they try to bring her back. And if you don't know anything about alchemy, you know you have to give something to get something. But it has to be of equivalent exchange. It has to be similar things. So in trying to bring their mom back, Eric here loses his arm and his leg. And he completely loses his brother. But before the brother can completely die, he pretty much binds his soul to this like old body armor that's in the garage that they were doing at. And it's following the story because now he is trying to get his brother's body back, and he's trying to get his arm and leg back. It's following the story. It's phenomenal. Okay. Alright, and the last book that I bought in the 50% off deal is Killing Stalker Deluxe 2. This is the 2nd volume. If you didn't know, I bought the 1st volume in the last book haul that I just did. I bought this volume. And it's basically following this boy who is a quiet man. Yoon Bum, a scrawny and quiet man, has a crush on one of the most popular and handsome guys in his college, Shangwoo. After the two cross paths again, Yoon Bum's feelings grow intensely until they become an obsession, and he breaks into Shangwoo's home. But what he sees inside is not the Shangwoo of his fantasies. His dreams of this alarming man abruptly turn into a nightmare. Yes, they had the 2nd volume. I'm here for it. Alright, and the next books that I bought, we bought on the last day. Literally bought on New Year's Eve. He was just like, let's just finish it out. You're not buying any more books in 2023, so just go ahead and let's go buy some books. So we went and bought some books. He bought me The Furrows by Wally Serpell. And this is following a family, and it's everything I need. It's following this girl named Cassandra, who is 12, and her little brother Wayne is 7. One day, when they're alone together, there is an accident, and Wayne is lost forever. His body never recovered. The boy's disappearance cleaves the families with doubt. Their father moves away and starts another family elsewhere, but their mother can't give up hope and launches an organization dedicated to missing children. As she grows older, she sees her brother everywhere in bistros, airplanes, airplane aisles, and subway cars. Here is her brother's face, the light in his eyes, the way he seems to recognize her too. But it can't be, of course, or can it? Then one day, in another accident, he meets a man both mysterious and familiar, a man who is also searching for someone and for his own place in the world. His name is Wayne. And then the little blurb says, I don't want to tell you what happened. I want to tell you how it felt, excuse me. And I know this was on a lot of lists for the best books of 2022 list. I've seen a post about it on Instagram. And yeah, this cover is everything I need. This cover is giving me Let's Go Swimming on Doomsday. And I know it's like literally not, but like the boy kind of looks similar. I don't know. It's okay, don't mind me. My brain works in mysterious ways. Alright, the next book that I had to pick up because it was 50% off is Gleaming by Neil Shusterman. This is it's stories from the Arc of the Scythe. And I believe this is like a prequel. But it's just short stories of what happens in the Arc of the Scythe series. If you don't know what Scythe is about, just a scythe. I'm just going to read the blurb for you. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequences of failure could mean losing their own. This is such a phenomenal story, and if you didn't know, it's on my series that I want to finish for 2023. So I'm glad that I went and picked this up as well. All right, the last four are all manga, so let's just get into them. The first one I have here is Given, and this is by Natsuki Kaizu. It's about a boy band. Okay, it's brilliant. Witsuka is bored with it all, with school, with the basketball club, and even with his true passion of playing guitar. That is until the day he finds his favorite hidden napping spot occupied by a strange boy cradling a broken string guitar. At first, Witsuka is nonplussed. Plussed? Sure. By Mafuya Sato and his slightly odd behavior, but when on a whim he asks Mafuyu? Sorry. To sing, the power of that song pierces him to the core. It's about a boy band, and I seen this cover, and I was like, I want to read about boy band, yes. And as I was telling Leslie when we were shopping, that I am trying to get away from Shonen Jump. Don't get me wrong. I love, if you didn't know what Shonen Jump is, it's one of the biggest publishers for manga, but I love their things, but they're always the animes that become really, really popular, or the mangas that become really, really popular, and then become mangas or animes. And I just want to, I know there's other great stories out here by other publishers that aren't the typical stories, okay? So that's why I picked this up. Alright, next I have The Geek X Hitman. And I picked this up because it's so hilarious. Actually, Wesley brought this to my attention because I had went and grabbed it. And he was like, oh, I was going to grab that, but it kind of seems kind of corny. And I was like, what? So then I read it. In his life as a hitman, Marco never failed to eliminate his targets. Known throughout Italy as the Oracle of Florence, he made a name for himself executing his missions quickly and silently with no hesitation. However, one day, in the course of his work, he comes upon a remarkably cute figurine that will change his life forever. Determined to track down the source of such a charming visage, he leaves Italy behind to immerse himself in the world of anime, manga, and games. But his departure ruffles more than a few feathers, and now, with a bounty on his head, Marco can't let his guard down just yet. It's literally about a hitman that wants to play video games and read manga because of a cute-ass little figurine. I need everything about that, okay? I need it. Okay, the next one I actually have no idea how to pronounce. Gleipnir? Sure, Gleipnir? Sure, Gleipnir. I have no idea. Look at this cover, though. That's why I picked it up. Because, like, what? It's by Sun Takeda. It's basically following this monster who is a kid who's smart. And he wants to go to college. But he's a monster, so he can't go to college. But then he uses his form to save a classmate named Clary. And now that he saved her, Clary's like, you're going to do what I tell you to do. Because she has a secret. And he's not the first monster that she has met. So I picked it up because of this cover. Okay. And last but certainly not least is Kageguri. Kageguri. This is also by Homura Kawamoto. Yes. Every time, it doesn't matter where we go. We can go to Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Second and Charles. I always see this. Even Target, Walmart. I will see this anime and I always look at it and go, oh, I really, really need to pick it up. I really want to pick it up because of that cover. And then I finally was just like, freak it, I'm getting it. But this is basically following a high prestige, privileged institution. An institution of the privilege with a very particular curriculum. You see, when you're the sons and daughters of the wealthy, it's not athletic prowess, Jesus, or book smarts that keep you ahead. It's reading your opponent, the art of the deal. What better way to hone those skills than with a rigorous curriculum of gambling? Like what? It's about kids gambling because they're rich. I need that in my life. Oh, there we go. This is it. I don't know if you guys can see them all. You probably can't. This is it. These are all the books that I just hauled for the last year. But we're going to say that we bought them in 2023 in spirit because I can't buy any more books in 2023.
I didn't make that call. I did, in all fairness, take you on the very last page.
You did take me on New Year's Eve to buy all these books. Oh my god. Anyways. My arms are getting very tired. So, that is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to check out my description where you can find easy ways to contact me, as well as all the books and videos that I talked about. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if not, just imagine how you did and come back again. Until next time, keep imagining.